Ruben Amorim will walk. And if he does, I genuinely don't blame him, you know? And I'm not saying he's going to walk after this game. I'm not saying he's going to walk after the Chelsea game. But I have this good feeling that he will leave before the end of the season. And this is not even a campaign to get Ruben out of this club because I want Ruben in, right? But if he does stay until the end of the season, then either he just knows something that we don't, or the board just don't have any replacement for him at this point in time. And like I said, this is not a campaign. This is not me saying that Ruben should leave the club. City 3, United 0. Yeah, I don't see how United come back from this. I don't see how we survive until the January transfer period because clearly, there's something, I don't, we always say this, like fundamentally wrong with this team, but there is something fundamentally wrong with this team. And, people want to blame the system. Some people want to blame the players. And I just feel it's a combination of everything. The midfield. This midfield, it's a mess. And we can't even blame Ruben for it because the club just didn't do their job. They didn't do their due diligence. Yes, we brought in players, but we never filled all the players that needed to be filled. When this transfer market was going on, yes, we had key signings that we needed to bring into this club, which have definitely elevated the level of this club. Mateus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, Benjamin Sesko, all right? But we also needed midfielders. We needed a goalkeeper. We waited until the last day of the season to bring in a goalkeeper. And mind you, this is not even an experienced goalkeeper. This is a keeper that has potential to be a very good keeper for the future, which in one way is a good thing because we are planning for the future, right? And we're not sort of expecting this immediate success, right? Because we know that even if we brought in a Donnarumma, it doesn't guarantee that we're going to win the league or solidify anything because this is a rebuild of this team. And yes, it's going to take some time, but man, I can tell you one thing for sure, that my mind is already made up about this season like it was last season. Last season, very early in the season, I already made up my mind about how the season was going to turn out. And not that I wanted to be negative, but sometimes you can just see things from the start and you just don't know how it's going to get better. And somehow, those same issues that we had last season, even though it looks like we addressed them this season, it's still the same problems that we're having. And that's not scoring goals. That's not taking our chances. City created 4 big chances. They created 4 big chances and scored 3 goals, right? And had 13 total shots. So out of the 4 big chances that they created, they scored 3. Okay? We had 12 shots on target. Oh, let me say in total we had 12 shots. Created 2 big chances. And we didn't score. Clean sheet for Man City. Clean sheet for Man City. Today, the playing was so elementary. We started off very well. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know where we just discombobulated and just collapsed. And after that first goal went in, it was... We still... the funny thing is, even after the first goal, I still had this feeling that we can still go and get something out of this game. Like, we can still go and equalize and maybe challenge for a win in the second half, or sort of just battle it out for a point, right? And then second half starts, we get off to a good start, and then again, everything just falls apart. And we know that the problem is in that midfield because we do not have a CDM. Bruno Fernandes, as much as we want him to fulfill that role, he just cannot fulfill that role. We don't have options off the bench. Ogate is not that player that can handle their midfield by himself. Pairing him up with Bruno Fernandes does not help because Bruno wants to be more involved higher up the pitch. And even though he is playing in that center defensive midfield position alongside Ugarte, he doesn't have the technical skills to be playing in that position, which ultimately just leaves us handicapped. Right? And I think that goes the same for how United have sort of been utilizing their players in this system. Is that we've had to sort of make shift and do with what we have. You know what I mean? And I can't really blame Ruben. Like, he has no options. I know there's cry outs for why is Bruno playing in that midfield pivot? Why is he not playing that number 10 position? I can understand the frustration that Ruben has in terms of not having the players to facilitate that role. And that's how we end up with results like this. 4 games into the season, 1 win. 1 win. 2 draws. What is it? It's 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses, 4 points. What, 14th place? Ruben Amorim's press conference, he was talking about league position doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with you. It does. Unfortunately, it does. We can't allow ourselves to keep slipping places. He can't be sending this message to the players that the position doesn't matter. I just need you to be playing good, consistent football all the time, which that is a good and relevant point. But we also got to keep in mind that we can't be dropping places for no good reason. Going into this match, we had a good opportunity to actually take this game to City. And it did look like that in the first half, in the first couple of minutes. City have not been up to scratch. They weren't up to scratch last season, and this season it continues. We have injuries, City have injuries, right? Both teams did not fill out their strongest teams. But there was a real opportunity over here for United to go and do something, and we did not deliver. Sorry. There was an opportunity to get points from this game, whether that it was a point from a draw or 3 points from a win. But we just didn't. The carelessness in this team it has reached a point that I don't even know what to say about it anymore. Losing balls, careless with the passing, not communicating. And then on top of that, Ruben goes and makes very questionable substitutes. Haaland, quick, powerful forward player. Who is the one player in that defense that can actually stand a chance of disrupting Haaland? Yoro. What does he do? He takes him out the pitch. And he brings in Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, and De Ligt cannot deal with the pace of Erling Haaland. And we got exposed. Erling Haaland just did his thing. He just did his thing. Jeremy Dogu just breezed past Luke Shaw like Luke Shaw was not even on the pitch. The result was so embarrassing. And on top of that, United just can't score goals to save their lives. We can't. Mbeumo had 2 sitters, 2. Yes, fine, maybe the first one was offside, right? But still, he had a chance to score a goal and he never managed to score despite it potentially being offside. Second chance that he had, yes, you could say that the ball came in too quick, but man, you're supposed to be alert in those positions. When you're inside the box, you have to be alert. You have to be focused. This is United against City. Every single chance counts. You have to take those chances. Those are the chances that are going to determine who wins or loses the game. And we failed. We failed that test. We failed. And now we're sitting at 14th. And our manager saying position does not matter. We're facing Chelsea next. Chelsea's not going to be easy. We're playing home. Chelsea have got a big squad. They've got a good squad. They have players right now who are currently on immaculate form, who are scoring left, right, and center. João Pedro is just doing his thing. It's going to be a problem. The games where we could have got points, we haven't. And that's going to be the theme of this season. Is if United are not going to get points from the games that we're supposed to be getting points from, I don't even think we want to see top 10 after this. Like I said before international break when we were ninth, enjoy it. Enjoy this position. Enjoy the win. Because I don't know when's the next time we're actually going to celebrate something significant again this season. Guys, it's bad. It's bad. Jan is far. Right? Jan is far. We have a lot of games from now until that transfer window. And by the time we get into that transfer window and we get the players that we need to get, if we're not going to be worried about where we sit on this table, it doesn't matter who we bring in. If we're not sitting at a good position on the table, it will not matter. It won't. I don't know. I don't know what to say, guys, but United need to do better. We need to do better. Like, I know it's a real problem. I'm not going to dismiss it. I know we need a CDM. I know that midfield needs to be corrected. But guys, this team, there should be no excuses. Especially when we're playing the lesser teams in this table. There should be no the excuses. I can back the excuses when we're playing the big guys. You know, I can back those excuses. But I can't back those excuses when you go and lose to Grimsby. I can't back those excuses. We should be good enough to go and comfortably get points from those types of teams despite us not having CDMs. But we're not getting those points. This Derby game was disappointing. It was embarrassing, guys. It was embarrassing. I know some of you look, I like Brian Mbeumo, and I've got nothing negative to say about him, so don't think I'm about to go in on Brian. No. But he had a poor game. I don't know how some people think he had a good game. He had a poor game. He should have been substituted off. Luke Shaw, I don't know what he's still doing at this club. I don't know. Like, for me at this point, you start Aiden Heaven. Forget Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw should be an option off the bench like Casemiro. He should be nowhere near this first team. It doesn't help our situation at this current time. It doesn't. Bayinder's still looking very shaky. You know, if what you call this? What's our new keeper's name again? Le Mans. If he was brought in to be that solution, like, get him up and running. Get him up and running. Like, I don't see any reason why we should be waiting. I really don't. If Altay is struggling, and which he clearly is, against all the teams, I don't see what difference it makes bringing in a keeper that could potentially be better than him and get the experience that he needs this season, enough experience before going into next season if we're going to be qualifying for the European, positions next season, the European leagues next season, if we finish in a good position this season. Like, start the keeper, start the new keeper. You know what I mean? It's good we're seeing Benjamin Sesko play. He has to play. He has to, you know. But again, we have a striker. He's not scoring. It's not his fault. And I said this last season about Rasmus Højlund, that yes, Rasmus Højlund's confidence did dip and he wasn't playing very well. But United is like, we don't know how to play with the striker, because we probably haven't had any good striker since Cavani and Ronaldo left. We haven't had an out-and-out striker, like a striker like a Benjamin Sesko, since they left. And so we've sort of just got used to getting the goals from the midfield and the wide positions. And it's like we do not know how to play with the striker. We do not know how to utilize the striker's strengths. Benjamin Sesko, obviously, is still young. He has a lot to learn. He also had a chance. I think he also needs to focus more on precision over power. Because a lot of the times, and he's not the only one, a lot of the players in this match, if they just went for more of precision instead of power, then maybe wouldn't have been getting all these over the what you call this, the goalpost shots. Mbeumo had good chances, you know what I mean? Yet he took some decent shots at goal. That save by Donnarumma was, absolutely amazing because that was a cracking shot. So big up to him for stopping that goal from going in because that was going to be an amazing goal. So the fact that he stopped that shot just goes to show that City have really invested in a really good goalkeeper. And that's the same keeper that United were also after and we failed to get. Guys. Jan is far. We have Chelsea next. I'm assuming we're probably going to see the same starting lineup. We might see Kobe Mainoo play in that game because I think he played well when he came on. Well, I'm not going to say he played great and, I don't want my words to be taken out of context and all of this and all of that. But at this point in time, there's no point complaining about this midfield because we've got no midfield options. We're going to have to chop and change. In some games, it's going to work. In some games, it's not going to work. We have to accept that. We mustn't get carried away when some miracle combination works for one game and we think this is it. If we play Chelsea and he starts Mainoo and Ugarte and it works, don't be misguided by one-off games and think that this is the pairing that we need until we sort it out, because it could just be a very weird coincidence that it just happened to work in that situation. When the truth of the matter is, we do need another CDM or two. A CDM and a CM, however you want to put it. But yeah, guys, I think that's all I'm going to say on this derby game. It was a disappointing result. It was a disappointing performance. United should have really gone guns blazing. And like I said, if Ruben lasts until the end of the season, big ups to him. It's not like I want him to leave, but his demeanor, the way he looks, he it's almost like himself. He also just can't ask. He can't be asked anymore. It's like, what am I even still doing here? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know how this happens. I don't know how we start the game off well and then all of a sudden it just folds over and it's a completely different United. It's night and day that just literally happens like 10 minutes after the start of the match, and then all of a sudden United just, I don't know, digress. It's weird. It's I don't know. It's unexplainable. It really is unexplainable. But yeah, man, all the best to Ruben for Chelsea, and yeah, I hope we can somehow salvage a point from that game, because if we don't, it's really not gonna look good for United at all. We're gonna be in a very, very dangerous position, and I don't know if we survive this season, to be fair. So yeah, anyway, I'm out. Peace.